everyone. Welcome again to our live broadcast, Making It Together Home Edition. And today we have a really cool topic planned out for you guys regarding a fun project that you can do at home to stay busy and crafty with some of the equipment that you have with you. So a lot of people during this time, their businesses are shut down, or they move their stuff home so that they can still produce garments and other products for their customers. And if you have some of that equipment sitting at your home, or maybe it's something that you just craft with day to day, this is going to be something that you can get involved with your family, with your kids, by yourself, whatever it be. It's really fun. I had some fun yesterday evening, actually, after work doing it. And it's all in regards to tie-dyeing your own garments, but then taking it to the next level and utilizing crafty things such as your heat transfer vinyl and a heat press or home iron. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And I want to thank everybody for joining in. I see those numbers popping up on the screen. I am live right now through YouTube and Facebook, through StreamYard, so I can see all of you guys commenting in. So let me know where you're joining from, and of course, how long you've been with us. So have you been tuning in from day one from our Making It Together Home Edition, which would have started last Monday, and also Josh Ellsworth is going live every Tuesday and Thursday as well. So let us know where you're joining from and how long you've been with us. And of course, you know, what different projects that you guys been doing at home. Are you guys still heat printing and working with screen print transfers and heat transfer vinyl? I'm curious to know how many of you are still getting your equipment up and running, and whether it be crafting or actually producing jobs for your customers. Right, so hi Laura and Deborah commenting in from Facebook, and I see Kingsland Customs commenting in from YouTube from New Zealand, which is pretty cool. So welcome, thanks for commenting in. Hi Mike, he's been with us through the majority of it, but he did miss episode 1, which is fine. And then Wayne from Texas. So hi everyone, thanks for commenting in. So I'm curious to know too, if you guys watched the Tiger King yet, because I actually created the shirt that I'm wearing today. And it's in regard to that popular saying, hey, all you cool cats and kittens, which is a trending saying in on social media from that Netflix show. So I want to know if you guys actually watched it. And I created this shirt because I'm trying to get more involved with TikTok and that side of video and social media. So I created this fun little graphic tee and wanted to see if you guys were actually watching it and what your thoughts were on it. But yeah, all right. So Target transfer shirt is amazing. Awesome. Thanks. Some of you laughing in from YouTube and Facebook. All right. So diving in, before we get actually into the bulk of the project that I'm going to be showing you today, there's one thing that I wanted to show you from Transfer Express. So I'm going to share my screen here as soon as I bring it up. They recently launched a package for the craft press. All right, so I'm going to make that big on the screen so that you guys can see this. So this is the press that I've been using throughout this entire Making It Together Home Edition. This is the 9x12 pink craft press that a lot of you have been asking about, where I sourced it. So this is through Transfer Express. So it's a really quality heat press. And if you're looking for something to bring home, or even have something portable to take to events or work on site and be able to heat print there, this is a great option. It's a 9x12 platen, so it is smaller from the standard 15x15 or the 16x20 size heat presses you may be working with. However, it's going to cover your basic full front design. So it has that 9x12 dimension. So you're going to be able to get some decent placement there and coverage of the garment or accessory that you're heat applying. In addition to that, you can still load on accessories. We have a lot of different pillows and pads that you can utilize to raise certain areas of an accessory if you need to isolate. So reason I'm mentioning this is because this doesn't have the ability to interchange plat ends. You just have that 9x12, but don't look at it as, okay, I'm out some of the different accessories that I could heat apply. It's all about being creative with it. We have different accessories that you can utilize to reach certain areas of a garment or an accessory that you need to. So keep that in mind. But what's also awesome about this is that they're also incorporating a free marketing kit with the purchase of the press. And if you're not familiar with the marketing kit, I'm going to jump to that now. So if I go to transfers and under marketing tools, I'm going to go to the Easy Prints marketing kit. Right, so this is what is going to come with the heat press, and this is going to give you access to Easy View Designer, the idea book that goes with it that has all those different layouts and templates and clip art that you can utilize to build artwork for your customers. And they're going to also set you up with all the different transfer types that they offer. That way you can start working with those transfers with this heat press as soon as you get it. So just keep this in mind. It has a lot of different items in there as well, such as like color swatches of the different inks that they offer, and also the pricing guide and application instructions. So this is really going to get you set up very well with the heat press if you're looking to enter into the industry at a low cost. So if you're crafting right now with a home iron, this is the perfect upgrade. It's going to have the right heating element that you need to get accurate application every time with your temperature. It does your time like readout for you, so you know exactly how much time the shirt and the transfer has been on there. That way you're getting perfect adhesion every time with your transfers. So keep this in mind. This is something that they just launched. It's new on their website. I know I mentioned it last week when we first got started with the live broadcast for Making It Together Home Edition, that it would be available through Transfer Express, and it is now. So it's really exciting. Be sure to check that out so that you can take advantage of all of that has to offer at this time. All right, so let's dive into today's project, and you can also be able to see that in action. So the project that I did yesterday was tie-dyeing. Okay, so this is a really fun project that you can get involved with your family, with your kids, keep them busy and active. This is something really fun, and there's a lot of YouTube videos around tie-dyeing. So I'm not gonna walk you through the tutorial of tie-dyeing, but the reason I wanted to choose this is because tie-dye is a trend that's being, it's circling back around, all right? So it's right along those retro styles and designs that we're seeing in retail a lot. And I just found something as I was shopping for groceries at Walmart, and I picked it up because I thought it would be a really cool way to do a project with it and show how to heat print it, so that we're taking all the precautions we need with those dyes in that fabric. So this is the kit that I bought, all right? So it's the Create Basics kit, all right? And it comes with the ink in there, the protective gloves, the rubber bands. I did buy extra rubber bands just in case, so make sure that you're buying those in addition to any dyeing inks that you're using. And then this is the little kit, the bottle that came with it. So you can actually get 3 projects out of this one kit. I did 2 shirts. I probably went a little overboard on the tie-dye, but oh well. All right, so the first one I did was just a basic Gildan t-shirt. So this is another source that I picked this up from Walmart. So that's another source for a blank garment if you just need something quickly to be able to craft at home. But Gildan is actually really well known in our industry for just basic 100% cotton t-shirts. So even if this was something you were like, oh, kind of want to do this like more and actually sell this, then you know you can source Gildan through Sanmar or SNS Activewear, Jiffy Shirts. Their a really popular brand across the industry, so you can get them through a lot of vendors. But basically, I just tied this up with rubber bands and then did the tie-dye. So that one, a little less of the dye there because I actually did the twist method and then wrapped it up in rubber bands. And then this one, I'm actually going to show you pictures of how this one was created. But this is a Cavio shirt, again, 100% cotton, and just kind of taking it to the next level, picking a trendier garment, especially for kids that you know that they're going to love to design and decorate with. So Cavio is a great source. That's K-A-V-I-O. If you're not familiar with working with them, they are a wholesaler, but you can actually find some of their blanks through Walmart as well in the women's and youth girls sections. All right, so I'm going to show those pictures of how that one was actually created, just in case some of you are curious. So this is the first image. This is after I actually soaked the shirt in water for about a minute, letting it get nice and moist there. And then you're gonna wring it out and let it be just damp at that point. You're not gonna keep it soaked. And then I just went across it and tied rubber bands around it. After that, we took the tie-dye and just, all I did was just kind of squirt it wherever, just to kind of fill all of the white areas where the rubber bands weren't. And then what you do is wrap it up in the saran wrap and let it sit for 6 to 8 hours. However, with this tank top, I only let it sit for 4 hours. So you can see that it's not as vibrant as it may have been if I let it sit for 6 to 8 hours. But I just wanted to make sure this was going to be ready to go for this morning. So I threw it through the wash cycle after just 4 hours last night to make sure that it was going to be ready for this morning. So keep that in mind. The longer that you let the dyes sit in that saran wrap, the more vibrant that the inks are going to turn out. However, if you want it to be more pastel looking, which is a really popular tie-dye now in retail, that kind of has just the splattered pastel type of colors, the less you leave it on there, the more faded it's going to look. And again, that's very popular. So after I was done with the tie-dye, then I thought, okay, what type of designs can we do? So as I was researching kind of what was trendy, a lot of graphic tees and even cartoon characters for kids. So we're actually going to be doing 3 different medias today. We're going to be doing one design that is mixed media. Start to finish, we're going to cut it out on the Cricut so you can see the entire process. And one product that we're actually going to be utilizing today is Chroma Bling. All right, so this is Chroma Bling. You can see that it has a translucent type of effect, so you can kind of see through it a little bit, but it has a lot of glitter specks in it, and it's very metallic and vibrant. It's really unique. I actually love this product because it's not like any other product out there. I love working with it, and I think it's going to pair greatly with the tie-dye because it's going to allow those inks to kind of show through the product. Now, whenever you're working with Chroma Bling, when it comes to vinyl cutting, there are some specific specifications you want to follow because it can be a little trickier to weed than most. So this is my test cut, and I wanted to show you this because as I peel the rest of this away, you can see if it doesn't get deep enough. I'm going to peel this away a little bit more so you can see it. If it doesn't get deep enough, that foil-like layer that is laminated to the glitter particle of the product will actually stick to that carrier. So you can see that that's not actually fully removing. All right, so that's the really translucent piece, and it reminds me a lot of foil, so that's why I'm calling it that. But you can see that that is still stuck there. The reason that happened is because even though I was on Iron-On Plus setting with my Cricut Explore Air, it still wasn't deep enough. It wasn't allowing that blade to get enough force to be able to create a clean cut line and puncture through all the different layers of this product. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're following the specifications because I'm working with and not the graph tech of which sure that I was doing the right thing. So I made sure I did some test cuts of this one to make sure I was getting a deep enough cut so that the weeding process wouldn't be so messy. So this is the first product that we're going to be working with. So I'm going to bring up the Cricut design space now so you can see the process here. All right, so I already went through the design process. You can see that it's getting ready to cut. So up here was my test cut. This is the actual design that I want to use. Right now it's not mirrored, so I'm going to make sure I turn mirror on. And we are doing a girls t-shirt, so we're going to be, or actually that tank top. So we're going to press that with the Chroma Bling. I wanted to go a little bit more retro with this because that tank top has the fringe, it has the tie-dye. So I went with a retro type font within CAD-Works. And then I just found a free piece of clip art on Google Images actually, and imported it and vectorized it through CAD-Works. So if you're not familiar with vectorizing in CAD-Works, it is certainly achievable. If you are familiar with the trace method in Silhouette Studio or Cricut Design Space, it's very similar to that. What it's doing is taking a raster image and it's creating a cut line so that you can then cut that design, because that is what your vinyl cutters read. They read vector cut files. So just make sure that you're tracing and getting a cut line, whether you're doing it through Silhouette Studio or through CAD-Works, whichever it be. That's how we were able to take an image from Google and import it into our designer. All right, so now that that's mirrored, I'm going to turn my fast mode on so that it speeds up that cutting process. And all I have to do at this point is hit the go button on my Cricut. All right, so I'm just going to hit the little Cricut symbol. It flashes whenever it's ready to go. I'm actually going to pause real quick. So I need to make sure that that design is dropped below where my test cut was, and I don't believe it was. All right, so we're going to cancel the cut simply by just hitting the arrow. I'm going to bring up my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. And all I have to do now is just take this and drop it down. So I know my test cuts were between the 1, and I can set this right at the 2 so that I know that I'm cleared to get a good cut there. And I want to make sure I'm not exceeding where the rest of my material is, which is down at 10. So we're good. This is an exact replication of what the material looks like on the cutting mat. So that's why I'm making sure that I'm dropping it below, because I know my cut lines or my test cuts are up here. All right, so I'm going to hit done. All right, so everything's saved over there. Now I can move forward with my cut. So I'm going to hit the go button again so that we're ready to go. Okay, so I see some comments coming in. Let's go ahead and address those while we're waiting for that to cut. All right. Good morning, Youngsters Clothing. Donna's joining from Ohio. Junior says he's doing well, adjusting to work at home and creating designs off work time, mainly keeping busy. Yeah, it's important to find, different things to do during this time so that you are staying on top of your business. And I have spent a lot of time not just creating content for these broadcasts, but also planning for future trade shows with our merchandising team. So we've been planning kind of like what's going to be upcoming, what are people going to be talking about. So always make sure you're planning for the future. Obviously, we're doing it in at a different scale, but staying on top of it and is ultimately going to help you in the long run if you're thinking about that stuff now. So, and that's a lot of the reason why we want to do these broadcasts with you guys, so that we're giving you ideas of different things that you can utilize in the future once business is up and running again. Okay, youngsters clothing, great advice. I've never used that product yet, so very helpful. And what type of t-shirt are you wearing now? So this is actually the Bella Canvas, and what it is actually a tank top, but it is from Bella Canvas. I'm not sure exactly the style number, but I sourced it through Sanmar, but it is the Bella Canvas brand. Here's the shirt again. All right. So what I did was actually did 3 colors of foil. I did the rose gold foil for the text. And then I did the leopard foil for the sunglasses, and then fashion foam electric for the lion head there. So I did do a video again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm testing out TikTok and how that all works and plays out. So this is one that we do have a recording of. So I'd be happy to share that with you guys once I have everything ready to go. All right, thanks, Debbie. And Maria asked, when you transfer a file from CADWorks to Cricut, does the file keep its size? Yes, actually, I didn't realize that till this morning. So as big as you have it in CADWorks, it's actually going to import that exact size into Cricut. And I didn't realize that because they were originally, whenever I was working with it, when they were being imported, they were coming in really large, and I couldn't figure out why, but it was because I was exporting it as a very large file. So keep that in mind. It does keep the sizing for you. All right. Susan asked, do you have a list of blank clothing suppliers you like to work with? I do. So I actually have that as a Word document on my computer. And I would be happy, more than happy to share that with you. I'm not going to be able to find it right now, but I can post the list of them in our Facebook group later. So if you're not a part of our Facebook group, Heat Press for Profit, make sure you join that. We share a lot of resources and tips and tricks there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and weed out the Chroma Bling now. And what force I ended up putting this on was 170. All right, so I'm going to make sure whenever I go back to my different heat transfer vinyl that I know cuts very well on the Iron-On Plus, I'm going to change that force back. But you can see if you have the right cut settings, this is a really easy product to weed. It does have a tacky carrier, but it's not like overly tacky where it gets to the point where it's like hard to weed. So this does peel away very easily. And if you do get some leftover pieces, it's okay. They do peel away fairly easily, and it's likely to happen. But keep in mind, if it does happen and you don't catch it and you go to heat apply it, that technically isn't laminated to an adhesive, so you don't have to worry about that actually transferring to the shirt. It may look like it has transferred at first, but it will eventually flake away because there's nothing there holding it together. All right, so all the excess material is weeded away. Now I need to go in and take out the cavities. And as I was looking at different designs, or retro style designs, really, this font came up a lot, and duplicated text did too when it comes to graphic tees, just repeating text 3 to 5 times, depending on like the thickness of it or how big you want the graphic to be. Keep in mind, it's more weeding that you need to do, but it is really trendy right now, so. All right, and one more. This is one product that we don't work with a ton, but it has such a cool finish that we should start using it more in our graphics. Right. And I just got word from our team that our Stahls account does actually have a TikTok page. So I'll have to share that with you guys. But mainly I was just doing some testing to see how the program really worked. All right, so that is our Chroma Bling. All right, so we went ahead and weeded that all out. So it's, even though it's really unique, it still works just like any other heat transfer vinyl with the right cut settings. You just mirror your design, get it all cut out, and then you can heat apply. All right, so that is our first heat transfer vinyl that we're going to be applying on the tank top. Now we have 2 other heat transfer vinyls we're going to be utilizing. The first one is Flock. And for this design, we're actually going to be doing a character. One popular character that I noticed trending a lot in kids apparel is Baby Yoda. All right, so they seem to love Baby Yoda, so we're going to be cutting out Baby Yoda today. Who am I kidding? We all kind of love Baby Yoda. It's not just for kids, right? I have a Baby Yoda sticker hanging up in my office at work, actually. All right, so I need to find my scissors here so I can trim this up. And remember where I set them. Oh, there they are. All right. So to trim this up, I'm just going to do a little bit off the end there so that I have enough room to put my green down. So the design that we're actually creating, I'm going to share my screen with you once more. So we're finished with this. We can hit finish. And I'm going to go to my projects and open up our Baby Yoda design. All right, so this is the one. I've, again, found this right on Google. So all I did was import and vectorize this. But that is our design, and that's what we're going to be using on the Gildan t-shirt. So we're going to be doing Flock and Fashion Film Electric. I chose these 2 products because I know that they're not going to have that ink migrate through, which could cause an issue whenever the fabric's being washed. So just keep that in mind when you are working with tie-dye. You still want to take into consideration the different heat transfer vinyls that can keep those dyes from migrating through. So Fashion Film Electric, metallics, foils, those are all products that just have a natural dye blocker. It's just the nature and makeup of them. And any other dimensional products like Flock and Glitter Flake. Now, this does change whenever it comes to sublimation inks. There are specific heat transfer vinyls that we recommend specifically for sublimation inks. So just keep that in mind. There's different heat transfer vinyls out there for different inks in substrates. All right, so the colors that we are using are the hot pink in Flock. And then this is green apple Fashion Film Electric. So just going to go ahead and load this on. Now we are working with 2 different densities of material. So our Flock is actually fairly thick. So I need to make sure that I am doing that in the Iron On Plus setting. And then whenever I cut the green part at the bottom, that's going to be just our regular Iron On setting. So we can go ahead and cut this out, making sure that I am mirroring and hitting continue. So when I hit continue, it's going to take me right to my settings. It's going to make sure I'm set on my Iron On Plus, that my design's mirrored. And again, fast mode gets the job done a little bit quicker. So we're going to turn that on and then hit the go button. Now, keep in mind, I am working with a pretty heavy force for the Flock. It's the same force that I worked with on the Chroma Bling. All right, so this, again, it has 2 layers laminated there, so we need to make sure our blade was puncturing through both, so I did increase the force. The typical force for cutting flock ranges anywhere between 155 to 170, depending on the newness of your blade if you are cutting it on your Cricut. Right, and I'm going to load this right back in because we're going to send the second job. And we're going to make sure we're dialing back that little knob there to just regular iron-on. And we want to make sure that this is mirrored as well. Right now it's telling me that the mirror is off. So I'm going to make sure I turn that on and flip our little baby Yoda there. Excuse me. Right. And now I can hit the go button once again. Oh, wait, nope. I keep doing this to you guys, and I apologize. What we need to do is make sure Baby Yoda is actually being cut down on the green and not over top of the heart that we just set up there. So what I'm going to do is go to Edit on my screen and drop him down to where my Fashion Foam Electric is set up. So it's set up right at 7. So I'm going to put this right up there. And I know that it's not exceeding the material because it drops all the way down to 12 for me. So we have plenty of heat transfer vinyl on our cutting mat there. All right, now we can hit go. All right, hi Becky, thanks for joining us on Facebook. And yes, Susan, I'll be sure to add all of those different brands and vendors where you can source different blanks. I will say a lot of my recent go-tos have been Pennant Sportswear, and that is someone that you actually buy direct through, and they are actually located in the northeastern part of the states. So just keep that in mind whenever you're considering shipping and how long that would take and where you're kind of located from then. And yeah, Judy, I am using the hot pink color in flock. But yeah, Pennant Sportswear is definitely one of my go-to brands. J America always has really cool blanks. I love Boxer Craft as well. So J America and Boxer Craft are both sourced through S&S Activewear. So if you were looking for kind of just like a one-stop shop, S&S Activewear has both of those brands. But those have to be my top 3 right now. Now I do love District through Sanmar as well. And the reason I like all of these brands is because they're coming up with unique things and ways to take their products to the next level. They always keep the decorator in mind when it comes to their garments. Is it going to be easy for them to either embroider or heat apply or screen print? Whatever the print method, they keep the decorator in mind when it comes to that. So they don't incorporate like a high percentage of like rayon that could potentially scorch. Rayon I see a lot in retail. If I ever like run to Target or something to pick up like just a plain graphic tee to decorate easily, I always find a lot of rayon in it. And it's hard to heat apply that without getting that shine or heat print mark on there. So yeah, there's a lot of different brands that I love, but those are ones that I've been going to because they have the trendy finishes or looks, and they're not doing everything else that a lot of like the boutique styles are, where they're incorporating synthetic fabrics that just want to scorch whenever you're either ironing on or heat printing. All right, so the heart, I should have dialed back the force, but it's going to work for what we're doing. So I'm just going to leave it as is, but it did it punctured up in the corner. So you can see that kind of coming out. The goal isn't to die cut this, but it's okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and weed these 2 colors, and then we'll get to heat application. All right, so keep in mind if you're going to be doing characters, the reason that I'm cutting out a character is because this is not going to be sold. This is going to be worn by someone in my family. So I'm not going to sell this and profit from it at all. Keep that in mind whenever you are working with characters, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're getting a letter in the mail that you're being sued for selling characters that are copyrighted. So there's a lot of rules that go into it. So just make sure you're being careful about it. This one I'm not worried about, again, because I'm not selling it. So if your kids want a character on their tie-dye shirt, no worries. You can do that for them or a family member, just as long as you're not profiting from it. Okay, so our baby Yoda's done. Very easy to weed. He's so cute. All right, now we're going to weed away the excess material from the flock. And I'm going to do this fairly carefully to make sure that I want to keep my template on there. So it's an easy application at the heat press. I let it cut through. I'll probably have to piece it all together, which isn't a big deal, but it's easier to just lay it all out and it all be lined up for you. So I'm going very carefully around those edges to make sure I'm not tearing that carrier that got punctured a little bit. All right. Flock is another product I'm starting to see trend, I think, because dimension is a really popular, having dimension in designs is really popular. Yeah, flock is a really great option if you're looking for trendy design elements. It has that dimension, suede-like feel. It's just kind of being reincorporated along some of those other retro styles that are coming back on the wheel when it comes to trendy things that you can do with apparel. All right, so let's go ahead and heat apply. So we're going to start with Chroma Bling. And because I don't remember the cut settings for this, we're just going to go to Stahls really quick. I'm going to show you where you can find all of our CAD-CUT heat transfer vinyl for future reference. So CAD-CUT Direct is the button that you want to click. Then you'll select heat transfer vinyl, and Chroma Bling is listed right here alongside all of our other popular heat transfer vinyls. So I'll select that, and we have all of the application instructions right here in user guide. So it is a 300-degree temperature for the application and 10 seconds with a medium pressure. And I don't have to wait for this one to cool down. It is a warm peel. So to be a bit of a cold peel, but it's not. All right, so we're going to do the Chroma Bling on the tank top to kind of keep with that retro theme since it has the fringe, and we tie-dyed it. All right, I'm going to rotate this so you guys can see. All right, so again, we mentioned earlier that this press is now available through Transfer Express. So keep that in mind if you guys are looking to either upgrade from your home iron or just bring something in-house that is easily portable and small that you can literally just set on top of a dresser or a spare table that you may have. I don't think like if you ever need to store it, it locks in place so you can just put it or something like that. So if you don't want to leave it out all the time, you can just close it up and store it that way. All right, so I'm loading this on, making sure that the seams of the top of the tank top are falling off the back. And we're going to do a preheat. I'm going to dial back my pressure a little bit. There is a pressure knob that is in the center of the heat press. Why that sets this press apart from some of the other ones is because they have a dial in the back of the press, which causes a lot of our pressure to apply in the back and not in the front. So anytime you're looking for a heat press, you want to make sure that over the center pressure knob is there because it's taking the pressure from the center and pushing it out so that you have even pressure across the board. All right, now we're going to take our Chroma Bling. And I think this is going to look really cool. So another thing about Chroma Bling is that it, I'm going to make sure I'm centered here, and I'm not at all. It has a kind of like a shape-shifting effect, but to color, and based off of the color it's applied to and the way the light hits it, it actually shifts its color, right? So I'm going to heat apply that for its 10 seconds, and then we'll peel it so that you can see the finish and how the light hits it, the different effect that it takes. All right, so now we can see that it's showing purple. You can see when the light hits it, there's some pink and oranges that pick up in the lighting as well. And this is a warm peel, so I'm just letting it cool down just a tad before I peel the carrier. And then I just remove that. And it's done. You don't have to do anything else with it. Right, so that is a really cool product that's going to pair perfectly for any designs that you want to do with tie-dye. If you want to add some bling effect and just something that's different overall that really will set you apart from some of the other designs that are out there. So this is it as a whole, right? So it has a really cool effect. Now, because we applied it to a lighter color garment, that's why it's showing now kind of purple, pink, gold, green. Whenever the light hits it, it shifts a little bit. But if I were to apply this to black, it would actually be orange. Okay, so that's why this product is so unique. It takes on a different look based off of the fabric that you're applying it to, right? So that is our first project done. And I'll be sure to take pictures of this and post it in our Facebook group later if you want to use these as sample pictures for your customers to show them what Chroma Bling looks like. All right, now we're going to heat apply our girls Gildan t-shirt. We're going to follow those same steps that we did in prepping the garment, just making sure the seams are on the back of the platen, and we're doing a preheat to heat up that material, get the wrinkles out, get this nice and flat, and release any moisture that could be in that fabric. So this is the second design that we'll be heat applying. And this is Flock 2 in Fashion Film Electric if you're just now joining us. So we're going to place the flock on here real quick to see where we're at with that. But I'm going to be heat applying the Fashion Film Electric first. The reason I'm doing this is because it's a thinner product than flock. So I want to make sure that this is getting the right amount of pressure that it needs before I apply the flock. If I applied the flock first, that dimension would cause an uneven pressure around the edges of this piece of the graphic that is directly touching the flock, right? So I see where my heart needs to go, so I'm going to go ahead and place him now. And to make sure I'm center, I'm just going to lift up the back of my garment and make sure I'm aligned with that Gildan labeling in the back of the shirt. And it looks like I am, so we can go ahead and press this. Fashion film applies at 325 degrees for 15 to 20 seconds. And now I'm going to place the flock on there, making sure I'm aligned accurately. Sometimes it can be a little hard to see through the carrier of the flock because it is not a true clear carrier. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. So it will take a little bit to kind of line that up, but as soon as you're comfortable with it, you just lock it down. Flock applies at 330 degrees for 18 seconds. And now I can just remove that carrier, which is probably going to come off in pieces because it has that puncture in it from the Cricut. But it is a cold peel, so we will wait for this to cool. And I know it's hard to see right now because that carrier of the flock is kind of covering up the green, but this is the finish of the green that we're actually going to see on there. It has a metallic-like finish to it. It's not a true mirror-like look, but it is going to have a little bit more show to it once we remove this flock carrier. And I'll go ahead and put this down so you guys can see this. I'm removing the carrier slowly because, again, we kind of punctured through that carrier a little bit earlier with the Cricut there. So I want to make sure that it's not going to come off in pieces. All right. And that is our finished design. So I can't think of a cooler type of garment to put Baby Yoda on than tie-dye because it just looks really cool and kind of goes with the theme of that whole Star Wars deal. But yeah, so just keep in mind if you're going to do characters that you're being aware and careful of copywriting and trademarks. So it's totally okay if you are crafting with your kids and they want to put a character on their shirt, but just make sure you're not selling it and getting into any copyright issues. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I see some of you guys coming in. Debbie says, you always do such a great job. Stahls needs to give you a raise. Thank you. I'll be sure to share this bit of information. But thanks so much. I appreciate it. I love what I do. It's fun to come on here and craft with you guys and share different ideas. I certainly love my job, so I appreciate that you are getting something out of it. And then Sixto asks, does Chroma Bling ship out of Arizona also? Yeah, so we do have a warehouse in Arizona, and that's going to be shipping our screen print transfers, our heat transfer vinyl, anything that we ship out of our typical warehouses you can get from Arizona. All right. All right, well, it looks like I answered all of the questions. Hugs to you as well, Debbie. Hope you guys are all staying safe. And once again, thank you guys so much for the love and support that you guys are showing us day to day. I hope that this content is definitely helping you guys and kind of thinking outside of the box when it comes to different techniques you can take it into consideration whenever you are back and in the roll of things. All right. So Josh will be live again with you guys tomorrow at 11. So don't miss it. He'll be here on YouTube, Facebook, and in our Facebook group, Heat Press for Profit. Other than that, I will see you guys on Friday. And thanks so much for joining.